Okay, very good afternoon. This is probably a very difficult slot for all of you. I really don't like the slot. Normally it's before lunch and of course before the end of the whole session. And I was also told that the numbers were huge earlier on, but we had people leaving, so we have a smaller audience. Thank you so much for staying on. My name is Banu and I'm representing Pearson. And I think the speaker earlier has made life a little bit easier for me because I think gamification is something that we all have to be in tune with, looking at how the future of education is, looking at digital education. I used to be, I've been in education for the last 20 years. I used to be Dean for the School of Computing in one of the premier universities in Malaysia. And I knew that students, even at that point, I'm talking about at least 6-7 years ago, they were all into gamification. When I first heard the term, at least about 10 years ago, about 8-9 years ago, so it's like, what? So, I mean, this is technology. Technology is here to stay. If anyone here says that, no, there's not going to be technology, you have to look for another career, I suppose. If you're in education, technology has to be there. Without technology, it's going to be obsolete. I'm sure a lot of you here have been in education for a very long time. You have seen the way how we were as students ourselves, and looking at the kind of students we have these days. Talk about Gen Y, talk about the generation that's here. Even talk about your mobile phone, the kind of phones that we used to have. When I was in the university, we never had mobile phones. We used to queue up for public phones just to make a call back home. How many of you were in that generation? All right, so okay, fine. And then look at our kids these days. They even have 2 phones. One is for mommy to call, and another one is for their friends to call. That's what I heard. I was shocked when I heard this. So this is technology, and it has taken, you know, I mean, life has to change. The kids are here to stay, and the kind of employees that we get, I think some of you may be well aware, the kind of employees that we get, these are the generation that's very tech savvy. They're all the time on the phone. Don't get them wrong, they're not calling or they're not browsing, they're actually probably on WhatsApp, or they're probably learning something, right? Because technology is available everywhere. Even my daughter, who's hardly 4, she's only 3.5, and she's like, I need your iPad, I need your phone, and then she's very fast. Even she can go into YouTube, she's looking for things, and it's like, it's really scary. She's only 3.5, but imagine another 10 years, whoa, can't imagine. So I'm here to talk about catching the bug, engaging with digital print. But before I go into my talk, I've got a video, so similar to the earlier presenter, because I think that's the way how it's going to be. Yes, the next slide. Yeah. Okay. The next slide is what's the scenario like in our classrooms today? So that's what the next the video is going to show. It's from Oakland Christian School, and special thanks to the authors of the book Disrupting Class. I'm not sure how many of you have read the book on Disrupting Class. No? So good. The video is here. Watch it. Yes. Just the sound.
I tell you, this class is going to be a blast. Yeah, you with me? All right. Good. Yeah?
Hey,
There's a scenario in 2 different classes, if you can see.
Hey, welcome to Blunder High. I want you to right now turn in your books, please, to page 8. Start to read chapter 1 as I get my easel set up. Thank you. Kids, this is very technological, please. You will be awe-inspired once you see what I have for you.
Wasn't that a great YouTube video? Hopefully it illustrated the point that we've been talking about.
If you'll please turn in your books to the index on page 357. You notice that it correlates with the cross-reference on page 17, the chart and diagram on page 12. What I especially like about this chart is that the researchers at Yale University figured out that the earlier study was, get this is exciting, it was inaccurate.
Are you guys enjoying your interactive lesson?
Of course.
Doesn't this virtual tour of ancient Egypt just teleport us back in time?
This multicolored flip chart juxtaposes the two eras in a rather exciting fashion. What I especially want you to notice is the blue line that happens on page 2. The blue line, as you'll notice here, rises and then seems to level off. Now, the numbers that go up here, this would be error 2. Make sense? It makes total sense when you just think about it. I've used blue to reference Poland.
We need to up the budget for this class.
Used to represent the Irish. What's it?
WAMP, sir? Yes, write them down for a $5,000 increase. Per student.
Oh, per student.
That ought to fix things. You think?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to the next one.
Hey class, remember to check out my Facebook fan page for a list of lessons. Plus, I'll be uploading some video links and some audio links to round out what's happening in class. Yes?
I was wondering, that article you posted on Twitter yesterday was great, but I was just wondering if any of the information will be on our test.
Great question. The answer is no. The reason we go there is just to be exposed to other resources. By the way, how many of you actually read that article? Good. Great.
This 35-page article will be on the test. I want you to pay special attention to the graphs that are on page 7.
Okay, I hope you're not doing that in your classrooms. Okay, so yeah, so it's kind of familiar, isn't it? That's where we came from, and we have to transform to the next guy, right? So this is basically what we're looking at. So you're going to have a question for me. If technology is this, and now we don't want to use technology in teaching. Just a moment. But that happens, you know, even in Microsoft events, the PCs won't work. So, alright. So. Alright. Okay. So how can we engage students in active, autonomous reading in both effective and motivating? Right? So you have seen the sample from both traditional teaching and using technology to teach. But having said that, not all subjects you can rely on just technology. It has to be, like for instance, architecture and things like that. You still have to have sort of like the stand that he had and things like that. You need the traditional teaching, but of course you need technology to enhance the teaching. So I think this is something that you're all familiar with. We spoke about it very briefly. And I think the entire day you've had sessions talking about technology, some of these tools. Any of you all are not familiar with any of these things? Alright, fine. So you're in the right classroom. So this is how technology is. And I have to confess, looking at that image on your right hand side, somewhere in the middle, At times we do that at home as well. So sometimes I just stop, my husband and I, we will be on our technology, on our device, and my little one will also be on the device, and then we look at ourselves, what are we trying to do? Sometimes it's like, okay, it's dinner time, I'll have to send him a WhatsApp to come down. So it happens even at home. So it's horrible. So that's technology and looking at how it has affected our lives. So the situation, it's harder to inspire and motivate our students to read. You agree? Right? I think students are more confined to their mobile device, their iPads to read, rather than giving them a thick textbook and say, go read. I'm not sure. I mean, is anyone not having any problem with that? Students reading? No, I think we are facing the generation, so we really don't have a choice. So students spend hours connected to their computers, immense in a digital world. So this is the scenario. Whether you like it or not, it's here to stay. Technology is there. Technology is getting more and more affordable as well. If you look at the devices that the students are using, on a simple mobile phone, you can access the entire learning management system. You can download stuff, you can read. So that's technology for you. It's here to stay, and we have no choice. So the solution here is, why don't we just join forces with technology to teach them to love reading. So this is what we are doing back in Pearson. So we know that technology is there, there's no choice. We know that we are looking at learner outcomes, how do we develop the nation. And what we have done is basically, what I'm going to talk to you today is about Buck Club. You have got the brochure in your little bags, I think that was given to you, a leaflet that looks like, anyone without this? Anyone without this in your little bag? I think you would not have. Anyone without this? My colleague Kanaga will give you a copy. So I'll be basically talking about Buck Club. Very quickly, it's a phonically based reading program for kids aged 4 to 11. You are here as educators, you are also here as parents. So you will be, what I'm going to talk to you is not really something very new, but you can relate because you have kids, you may have kids that age. So the first reading program that combines the most finely level structure and approach. So what we have in Buck Club, so we have got the online reading world. So what it does is, you have the online reading world, at the same time you have the text as well. And it's an exciting online reading world. If we have some time, we'll go on to the demos. So it's good for children, for teachers, for parents. It's perfect for independent reading. So if the kids are on their own, for their, when they're left on their own to revise, so it's good for independent learning. And it has also guides for each and every one of the texts that's provided. So it's a leading whole school reading program to teach today's children to read. So one of the problems that we always find is kids don't like to read. When they go online, they don't read. So on the flip side, the kind of problems that we tend to face, kids are very much into their technology, into their devices, they don't read books. But what we are trying to say is, we have to still, reading is definitely necessary, it has to be there. Even though the technology devices are there, we have to bring our kids back into the mode of reading. So that has to complement each other. So for Buck Club, this is what we have. So if you look at the reading program, it teaches with Buck Club, unbeatable teacher resources. We've got the entire resources for teachers. Inspire a love of reading with exciting books, an online world that makes reading even more rewarding. So that's the inspire part. Consolidate their learning using a wide range of games. So in fact, talking about games again, so there's online games, worksheets, e-book quizzes. So it consolidates that part of it. And then there's an assessment at the end of it, where pupils progress through a range of different tools and assessment. So you can actually assess the students on their how far they've come from, where their weakness and things like that. So you can actually do. So this particular Buck Club, it actually does all of it. For the teachers, it inspires the kids to learn, it has consolidation of games, worksheets, and assessment at the end. So it's a total solution that's given to you. So how can Buck Club make a difference? So the students are able to play. As they play, they learn. Of course, their phonics and their reading, and then progression, and parents are able to assess the kids at all time, anytime that they want. It's all online. Next. So children will want to read the Buck Club with their online games, the e-books. They have the e-books. Of course, there's many games, and then it's all structured for different level of kids, the kind of games that they play. They have rewards, like what the earlier presenter has mentioned, even in gamification. So they have awards that you can actually collect, and then there's little avatars, and then you can actually get, as you achieve a certain level, you can actually exchange for items that you can buy to decorate your avatars and things like that, which they will love. So as they learn, so it becomes very interesting to them. It's a great online world for today's digital natives. So you have a lot of different images that the kids will be very interested in. Next. Phonics, if you look at the phonics, the Buck Club will get children reading from day one with the phonic Buck teaching software and decodable readers. So you have got the readers there as well. So, and for reading, a complete reading program that teaches and model reading, fosters guided reading, provides ample opportunities, reading comprehension, so at every level, looking at word, sentence, and text. Then maybe I would like to get my colleague Kannada just to share an opinion. I mean, you are familiar with this on the different learning levels. You may want to explain?
So hi, I'm Kannada. Just to build on to what my colleague Banu has said, basically the Buck Club is a 21st century reading program that's used by many international schools in Malaysia and around the world. And what it does is, it is built with 4 principles in mind. First of all, it is built to help the teachers to teach. So for the teachers, you do not have to worry about the resources that you need, how you need to plan. Everything is given for you so that you concentrate on just the reading part, the teaching part in the classroom, and it is built to inspire the child to read. So we have a good range of fiction, non-fiction titles for the boys and the girls. For most reading programs, it's very difficult to get children engaged, especially boys, because they do not have titles that's relevant for them and titles that interest them. What Buck Club has done is it has brought a lot of titles that is very engaging and relevant to children, both boys and girls, at their own levels. Right? The third part is to consolidate and to assess all that learning that has done. And when the child is actually reading a book, what the system actually does, it actually tests the children in terms of whether it's comprehension, grammar, or spelling. And when the child is actually attempting to actually answer the questions, what the system does at the background is it is actually tracking whether the child gets it right. The first attempt, the second attempt, or third attempt, and all the analytics actually pulled down together. So what it does for the teacher in the classroom is, like, from the analytics, it actually helps the teacher to help individual child make that progress that they need.
You see, one of the biggest problems as a head of school, I used to see this, because the teachers now, they know that, or at least for most of the universities now, they are going towards blended learning, e-learning, blended learning, which means you have the traditional teaching, and then you've got you have to put technology into your education and things like that. So a lot of teachers are feeling they're taking a step behind because they feel that, oh, I'm not so used to this. I'm a good teacher, I know, but don't ask me to use technology. This is something new. So they feel very intimidated because technology is there. How do I do it? How do I get started? There's always a problem in trying to implement. So what we have done in Pearson is we have taken all that trouble. So we understand how the learners read, they learn, and then what we have done is we have come up with this excellent product here, Buck Club. So which means the teachers now do not have to worry on developing the modules. But what they can do is use the module that has been already developed at every different level that the kids need to study. So that's basically what it means actually. So as far as progression is concerned, the Buck Club will help every one of your children, that means the kids in the class. So you're able to see for every single, like say for instance you have 30 students in your class. So for every one of the students in your class, you're able to then look at their progress. Where are the areas that they're weak? Is it the phonics? Is it the grammar? So you're able to actually chart the progression of every single student in the class. Right? So this is basically how it looks like, reporting easier than ever. So for a pupil, the name will be there, which group, and then what is it that they viewed, which date, what are the area of weakness. So it's all mentioned there in a click of a button. So as far as parents are concerned, Buck Club will give your parents a new way to help the children in their reading. So it's not just that when they are in school, but once they're back home, parents will then able to sit with the students, go through with the students at their own free time, and looking at the modules again, and then looking at what are the areas that the students will need help. So this is sort of something that the parents, so the parents experience, as the e-books are able to be read online by the child outside the classroom, for example, at home with their parents, the Buck Club strengthens the link between the home and the school. Because when the kid takes these particular Buck Club back home, so there's actually a bond between the home and also the school, the teachers and the parent as well. So then here's some praises for the Buck Club. The Buck Club deserves gushing praise for its design and innovation. This is a program destined to lead the market and transform the way we teach reading. It's easily the best reading program I've seen in 15 years of teaching, and perfect marriage of print and digital resources. So it's one of a kind because we're not, again as I said, we're not just looking at the digital part of it, but how the digital prints actually assist in the kids looking at the printed books. So the rest of it is actually a walkthrough on the Buck Club itself. If we have any questions, we'll be happy to answer. Yeah.
You mean you have e-book as well as a printed book?
Yes. It's actually online. So the Buck Club is actually online. So when someone is going into Buck Club, what they actually get is just a username and an ID.
Okay.
So once you actually go in, everything is there. The resources are all there. It's all available online. Different modules for different learning. But you have the books as well at the same time.
So we have the print and we have the online part. The only difference between the print and the online is the online will have the assessments. Like you can only do like printed assessments with the printed books
In the books.
but the online will be the interactive assessments. So as the child is actually reading a book, there will be questions popped out, whether it's like grammar, spelling, or comprehension. And as the child is trying to attempt to answer the questions, the system is actually tracking it at the back end. And it will generate a report. So at the end of the day, say for instance that the child has read 10 books, what the system, the analytics will be able to give a teacher in the classroom is it will say that for this child, I think this child needs more of like a spelling practice, because most of the spelling questions, the child didn't get it right, like at the first attempt, only got it right the second and the third attempt. So it is all the tracking is done, but we can't do the same thing with the print book. But whatever you have on print, you also have it online.
You see, for instance, like if you take a look at the book, step-by-step instruction is given. If like a parent is actually using the book to teach, so the instruction is given. If like say for instance you're learning phonics, the R and the like
The
a big
sound.
fat rat, for instance.
Yes.
So it's the instruction is actually given on how does the parent, if you open the book, what is it that you have to look at for the kids. So it gives you an instruction of what is this book, what are you going to learn in this book, and then step-by-step instruction. And even if you're going to assess your child, your assessment is actually given.
So any family buy one set of books or the school buy one set and share amongst them?
Okay, so
Yeah.
for the school, in terms of the print and the online, the school usually buys the online subscription, and so each child is then given a login ID.
Okay.
For the print, how the teachers use it in class is when they do like a shared reading, or they can use that in the class, and it is also made available because the teachers also feel that they want the children to be able to touch, read the books. So usually the print part is used in the school, and the online is done at home. Because the tracking can be done online.
One of the notion that a lot of parents these days feel that, you know, our kids now are losing touch with books. So it has to still be there, not just technology. So that's actually one of the reasons why in the research that was done, that was when Pearson then decided, okay, we will have both print. So if you look at a particular book online, the exact same book is also available in print. So when the kids are back home, they can decide whether to use the book or they can even go online. But parents still feel the book, you know, the bonding between the parents and the kid, so we will still have that. Yes.
It looks like here you have some open-ended answers that they can answer, is that correct?
Yes.
So that one needs to be marked by commented or marked by the teacher?
Yes.
Or
Even some of the books, right, what it does, it allows the child to actually place your own text. That means you can change the text, but you can't save it at the end of the day. But you know, it gives the child to be able to personalize even reading a book.
So do you have any other, I mean the questions are like basically MCQs or banded, or how is it? Because you've got different type of questions.
It is blended. Some is MCQ,
They
some is
have both
the
MCQ, they have
And
open
the
and
MCQs obviously be self-marked, but the open-ended, it needs to be managed by a teacher or a parent or something.
right.
And the instructions are all given in the book.
Yeah.
So how about the placement, placement test?
The
Because
diagnostic.
yes, correct.
So we do have some placement tests that you can easily administer with your children in the classroom and then put them into
Is
groups.
it online or paper?
It's paper.
Paper-based.
Paper-based. And for the children in the classroom, right, I mean, the honest truth is there are children of different abilities in your class, right? So when I, as a teacher, if I want to allocate books to the children in my class, I must also be able to do that. What you can do for each class that we create in the system, you can even like group them according to their reading abilities, and then allocate different types of books for the different children in the classroom.
You mean the teachers need to do the allocations?
That's right.
Yeah, because
Yes.
when you go into the system and you're trying to log in a particular child, you actually have different levels. You can actually put the child in a different level.
That's right.
So if you are familiar with your class, your class of 30 students, I'm sure all of us in our class, we know which is the group which is good and which is the mediocre one and which is the ones that you really need help. So you can actually categorize them in that level.
That's right.
So which means that for the weaker kids, you probably need to spend a bit more time.
And you can give them much easier books.
Yeah.
And how the system actually works is we have books allocated for Key Stage 1. Reception and Key Stage 1 is one group, and Key Stage 2 is one group. So for the children who have better reading ability in the classroom, you can actually move them to a higher level just almost immediately.
It's quite easily you can manage.
For those of you who like a 60 days free trial account, you can come and see me after this. You can give me your cards and I can get in touch with you and give you the free trial accounts.
There's a free trial for
Yeah.
60 days. So you can actually have a look at it. So if you think that this is actually going to work, then you can come back to us.
Yeah, and for if any of you need a free demo, you need me to come and speak to your teachers and show a proper demo, I can also do that. So please feel free to get in touch with me.
What kind of device the children need? A smartphone good enough or must be an iPad?
Any smartphone,
iPad,
it's
smartphones.
iOS, I mean Apple,
Minimum
or
screen size?
Android, any size. iPad,
Yes.
mini iPad,
Even the small Samsung
even the
can.
small.
But you can. Yeah.
Then again,
That's right.
you want the kid to actually, because they're going to spend a bit more time, so you want them to have
At least an iPad.
proper,
Yeah.
at least an iPad. So look at it. We can give you a free trial. If you go onto the website or even on YouTube, there's also sample videos on how the Buck Club actually works. That's just to give you an overview of the Buck Club. But if you want to really try it for your kids, in fact even for schools, you want to just try. Just speak to us. We give you a 60-day trial, and then 60 days is good enough for you to see how it actually works. You can actually take not complete assessment. You can do part of the assessment, and then to see how your kids are actually they're tuned to whatever that's there. Whatever that was mentioned on gamification is also there. The games are also very exciting for even a 4-year-old. So my daughter gets very excited looking at it. So I think you all should come online and have a look at what we have to offer.
Yeah. And the components that you have in the book club is you have the phonics book, you have spelling, grammar, and the reading books. So it's actually a complete reading program. And the 60 days trial account actually gives you everything. If you were to purchase book club, that's exactly what you get in the 60 days trial account. So please just connect with us to get a free trial accounts.
Free trial doesn't have the books, right?
Everything. You have the assessment.
You have the books for the 60 days? No, not the books, it's just online.
No,
right?
not the print.
Not
But
the
the
print.
online will have all the printed book. That's why I said whatever you have print, you also have it online. It's the same thing. It's
So
just
you
that
can
the
actually
online
have
you
a look at it
extras.
online, yeah.
Yeah, the online you have extra. You even have the teaching materials, the videos that you need, even the videos that you need to teach phonics, like the letter sound association, the blending, the rhyming, it's all there. And after a child has learned the letter sound association, you also want them to play some games, right? To make sure that to reinforce whatever that was learned. So all this is available in the 60 days trial account. It is interactive, and it is whiteboard interactive. Sorry. So you can actually use that in your classroom to try it out with the children in your school.
And then the guidance is also given on
That's
okay,
right.
which are the materials, and then you move on to the next level, so which is another
The
level.
lesson
of,
plan,
yeah,
the
lesson
planning,
plans,
the
all that.
assessment, everything
It's
is
all
there.
done. So you don't have to worry about the assessment, the learning outcomes, and also it's all there. Everything is done. You just have to follow step by step instruction that's given. Very clear instructions.
If you want to have a feel of the physical books, we can loan you. We do have stocks in the warehouse as well. Any more questions? Okay, one thing to share is that Pearson is the world's largest company actually. Alright, the second largest in the world is also way behind. Because due to time limitation, they can only present one product. But if you have anything in your mind to do with education, Pearson will most likely have it. Maybe even the staff don't know they have it, but they buy companies every other month. Probably they will have some of this product in the arsenal of content or products actually.
Now that you mentioned it, a lot of people when they talk about Pearson, they know us as a book publisher. When I first joined Pearson, and then they said, "Oh, what are you doing? Proofreading?" Because everyone associates Pearson with books. So in Pearson, we don't only do it. We don't only deal with books. Of course, it's a larger part of the business, but we do a lot of e-learning. We do e-books. We work with universities. They have plans on going into blended learning. So we work with you on looking at the modules, on how can we assist in your path, in your journey for e-learning. So we do all that. We offer BTEC. If you know the BTEC vocational certification, that's also under Pearson. LCCI, EdXL, A levels, that's also under Pearson. So we are a company with 40,000 employees around 80 countries. So that's what Pearson. So in UK, we are the largest awarding body, Pearson. All right. So thank you very much. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to present to you. And please do drop your business card if you need us to give you a 60-day trial. Thank you.